Hey guys, Ramsay here. Welcome to another live stream. And joined is my very good friend. It's an honor and a pleasure for the fourth time actually on my small little channel to have Russian Adam. Adam, I wish you were here. I could shake your hand and hug you, greet you like a brother, but it's a pleasure to see you. How have you been?
Yeah, my pleasure, man. I've been well. Thank you so much for having me.
Good. Good to hear it. You being here is always going to draw a crowd. I know, and I announced it yesterday, so I know we're going to have a lot of people tune in. I know a lot of people love hearing what you have to say, but first of all, I have to say congratulations on the success of the 8th collection. I know that you were sort of blown away by the reception that it received. Why do you think that the History of Oud collection did so well, and what was so special about that collection to you personally?
Yeah, indeed, man. Indeed, it was not expected. I was kind of thinking like, okay, I'm gonna do it as my small personal type of thing, very passion driven, like to have my own small oud collection to spray it once in a while, and I actually start using Indian Ood on a regular basis. Like every Friday, I start applying it, and I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of replacing Ottoman Empire in that regard.
Wow.
Before I will release another version of Ottoman Empire. So I was thinking, yeah, it's going to be like a small personal thing, and I don't really expect much attention, or you know, I don't really expect many people to go and jump on it and buy bottles because it's so different to regular perfume compositions. You basically got your oud oils in a sprayable format and nothing else. But nonetheless, I tried my best, to present it in the way I was thinking of, and to really tell people that I really wish they can implement oud oils as they do implement perfumes. I mean, obviously, it's not as wearable, but I just wish people, spray it more often, enjoy it more often, and then get used to it. And it's kind of really now looking at it becoming like a new fashion of using oud oil. It's more convenient. I guess that's one of the main reasons why it became so popular. It's very convenient. And I mean, I done my best as usual in terms of the bottle design and everything. I think this also played a big role. What do you think?
The packaging is beautiful. Actually, it's interesting you say you wish more people would sort of wear it out and about, because yesterday, to work, mind you, I wore the History of Chinese Ood to the office. And today, I wore the History of Kinam Ood for the very first time as my scent of the day. And
I,
I'll tell you what, so whenever I was testing this, because I tested them all in a live stream. I don't know if you got a chance to check out that live stream, but I sort of tested them all at once. I had one here, one here, one here, all 6 of them. And History of Kinam Ood was sort of like overshadowed by the others, but actually wearing this today as my scent of the day and really like being immersed in it. Like I did 8 sprays this morning before I went to the office, and just rolled in, and I could really smell that cloudy, airy mintiness, almost a little bit of a cannabis like vibe. Like, have you ever had a friend that smoked and the smell gets in his clothes, and whenever you get close to him you can sort of smell the cannabis, that green sort of that's sort of what I got a little bit from this today. Not that I smelled like I smoked a J before I went to the office or anything, but it had that sort of green aspect to it, and I've really enjoyed this. And the other thing I've enjoyed is how this thing has been on my skin for like 15 hours today, and I can still smell it beautifully. No, even though it's meant to be sort of a lighter take on because Kinam is that airier, cloudy, minty aspect, I can still smell this like I just applied it. It's so powerful on my skin, and I've really come to enjoy this one more than I thought. But how long? I know when we talked about your history of Oud collection or history of Atar collection, you mentioned it wasn't something you just snapped your fingers and created, that it took you years in the making. How long were you working on this collection?
Yeah, that's been a while. But first of all, very interesting to hear that you wearing some of those to work. And how was the response from your coworkers? You got any comments at all?
No, I mean, actually, but actually that's not true. There is a guy that sits next to me who knows I'm into perfume, and every day he asks me what I'm wearing. And so whenever I showed him this today, he was pretty taken aback. You know, he was like, "Wow, beautiful bottle and presentation and all of this good stuff." But actually, very few. I never got any negative comments or anything like that. Not that I care. I mean, you know, most of the guys that I've worked with for years and years. So if they don't like it, oh well. But you know, no negative comments or positive comments on it. But getting to wear them as my scent of the day, even though I think they're really not a perfume composition like, you know, an entire perfume like Ottoman Empire, I've still enjoyed the ability to wear it and break it down as if I'm wearing a perfume. You know, it really does feel like I'm wearing a perfume, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that totally. So yeah, man, it took a while. I remember I blended first. I think was Indian or Cambodian, and I did upload it, the videos as well, how I done it, and it's been yeah, like I mentioned the dates there. Some of them like over a year, more than a year, and it's been just a while to really combine all these different histories of oud and to source all of those. And I remember I actually blended white Kinam, white Kinam with ambergris like 2 years ago and macerated with the alcohol. And it's been sitting like for more than 2 years before I actually blended this with the other ingredients for the history of Kinam Ood. So yeah, it's definitely been a while, and sometimes it's kind of hard to imagine. You think like, okay, now it's released and it's been like few months in the making, but actually, yeah, like Kinam tincture, it's been like over 2 years. It's been tinctured, and you can see I'm doing it in my Instagram, and all the dates are there, obviously. So we got the reference.
Is it exciting to you to find more and more people, not just I would say folks in the Middle East who are maybe used to oud, but Western noses even having so much interest in real oud like this, not the designer fake oud, but is it do you find it fascinating, or do you find that it's sort of an honor to bring this type of thing to people where they're finding the oud note more and more desirable?
Yeah, totally, man. Because many people not realizing this, but I stated this in the video. Like I started as a distiller, and to me, it's all about oud. Partly Areej Dore main purpose was to bring people closer to, oud, musk, ambergris, but mainly oud, and fragrances like Russian oud being designed and created in order to bring those people who really dislike oud, natural, barnyard, this classical type of oud, and let them kind of think again and try to appreciate it. And it was successful even at the time when I just released Russian oud. I remember people writing me like, "Oh, I never thought I'm gonna love oud so much. I never thought the oud gonna be so delicious, like so yummy that I want to eat it and I want to feel it and I want to experience it again and again." And this was really inspiring. And this was kind of a pinnacle, of this agenda to bring people closer to real oud and make it more understandable, more easy to wear, more easy to use, and really let them dig it and discover its countless number of nuances and different scent profiles and this and that. I mean, like you worn Chinese and Kinam the next day, how you personally see this huge difference in terms of the style, scent profile, different notes, nuances, because Chinese is like heavily animalic, civet-like, and very, very, challenging. Whereas Kinam is the total opposite. I mean, how would you
Yes.
describe this?
Well, I was going to save this for maybe later. I was going to ask you first which one was your favorite, but actually from the limited wearings, and I've done full wears of Cambodian Oud, history of Chinese Oud, and now Kinam Oud. So I've only given 3 proper full wears. I haven't worn them all yet, but so far, just from wearing them and testing them, I think actually my favorite from the collection actually is the history of Chinese Oud. And, something that a friend pointed out to me, because when I did my first impression video, I said that this had a very earthy like smell, almost like a mushroom, but actually it's more than that. There's this ashiness to it. So it's almost like, you know how a cigarette burns and it leaves the ash. It's almost like if you could take a mushroom and burn it and have mushroom ash left over, this earthy sort of slightly obviously woody, and I can smell the similar scent profile in Chinese Oud that you actually did, but there's a composition around this. But I've really come to love this one as well. But isolating just the Oud and getting to wear it here is really something special. And I remember whenever I told you I thought that I was going to try to get the entire collection, you said, "Why do you want this? Are you turning into an Oud head?" And actually, yes, I am. I mean, some of the Oud oils that you've sent me and getting to wear stuff like this, and in our past videos, you said that you thought Oud was the top ingredient. And when you said that, I don't think I really 100% agreed yet, but I do think I agree with you now, that I can see exactly where you're coming from and why you say that, and the versatility of it, and how rare and precious of an ingredient is, and how we really have to cherish what we can. These type of, for me, this is like something to cherish. So I've really enjoyed getting to know these. How hard was it for you to convert? Obviously, the actual Oud oils that you gave me are different from putting it into a spray format. How hard was it for you to get it into a spray format where everything was proper and correct?
Yeah, definitely. It took some time. It was challenging. But as you said, I was thinking that it's so important, like wood in general is so important for the perfumery. And I was thinking like, okay, any perfume lover, if he really dig different perfumes, no matter what styles, what type of fragrances he like, but if he really dig different scent profiles, different notes, and looking forward to analyze fragrances that he's wearing, he cannot ignore oud. And if he would say that he doesn't like oud, it's probably because he not yet fully discovered this material. He not fully understood it. He not fully, immersed into it, and he not really found the scent profile of oud that he might personally like. Because this is just like obvious to me. It was obvious, and now we see it's happening. I'm very, very happy that perfume lovers, they really smelling oud and they finding the scent profiles they like. Then they dig in it. Like now, Indonesian oud is making some waves in the community, like people receiving it, those who know agarwood, those who new to agarwood, those who used to burn oud, those who never tried burning oud. And I receive all sorts of different takes on it. People getting different notes, different impressions from it. They see, they feel different things. It reminds them of different things. And I'm truly, truly happy about it. So yeah, it was like a big challenge, as I said in the video before, that I started experimenting with pure oud in a sprayable format as soon as I launched Areej Dore. Was like very interesting topic for me, and then I was never like fully satisfied. It was something was wrong. When I was blending perfume alcohol with oud, I wasn't getting the pleasure that I'm getting from the pure oil for some reason. And I was continuing, like, I left it for a while, then I started to continue experiments again until I came across, those very, very dense and thick and aged oils, those that become very, very heavy, very sticky, those that take ages to grow on skin, to develop, to show their scent profile. And once I diluted those, I was like, wow, this was like revelation in a sort. I was like, wow, that's really something that regular people should experience, because they act differently. They showcase their nuances a bit faster. It's very, very approachable. It seems very approachable to more approachable, at least to regular people, And then I start experimenting more, and also those very, very heavily animalic scent profiles like Chinese Oud. Maybe now in the spray format, it's not as animalic as it is in oil. It might not be as animalic to you, but in the oil format, it's very animalic. So I found that those also very barnyardy, animalic type of woods, they go very well when you make them into a sprayable format. And they also show different nuances. They becoming a bit less challenging, a bit more easy to understand. And yeah, I just chosen those. And of course, something like Indonesian Oud, where it is like an extract, CO2 extract. If it's not in perfumer's alcohol, otherwise it would be solid, I guess. It would be completely solid. So this is really like the only way to present Indonesian Oud to people is in the sprayable format. But definitely not all oud oils offer very satisfactory experience to me personally when I was trying to make them into a sprayable format. So it was really a big challenge to select those that I feel offering more rather than less. So I'm really, really glad that I found those that match this format.
Agreed. And no, I appreciate you sharing that. Since I've been wearing, from about a year ago, you sent me those oud oils themselves, and before I go to bed, it's almost turned into a ritual where I'll apply some of the oud oil. It's just such like a calming ritual for me. And these spray format history of oud collection, they give me the exact same feeling almost as applying the actual oil. So I think you absolutely accomplished what you were shooting for here. So not to put you on the spot, but just out of curiosity, because the demand was so high, and because this really does feel like it hits the exact nerve of what Areej the Dore was set up to do, are you planning on doing another collection similar? I know there's already people that are asking me, will there be a part 2 of the history of oud collection?
Yeah, I definitely thinking about it, because it's my passion. First of all, it's my favorite note. It's my favorite. I mean, we will talk later on about musk oil and other type of things that drives me absolutely crazy. But this is like the top ingredient, and I definitely would love to do the history of oud collection part 2. But I think people very hard to understand amount of time and investment it also requires, because people talking about, oh, oud is expensive ingredient, it's not easy to use it in the composition. But here we have like 100% oud. There's oud and nothing else, and not
Right.
just any oud, right? Because if you want to do something as exceptional as this, you want to use the best oud you can get, and this best oud is extremely expensive. And to have variety, like 5-6 different type of oud, and each one you have to buy like half kg and 1 kg and this and that, and it's extreme amount of money that needs to be spent on this. And then it takes time to macerate and this and that, and it will be a very, very challenging project to pull off. So even if I start today, it will take at least like 1 or 2 years maybe to accomplish. But I will do my best. But having said that, this weekend, in fact, tomorrow, I think I will re-release the leftovers of the stock. Yeah, there are like only a few bottles of Chinese Oud left. There are quite a few bottles of Indian Oud left, and there are even larger portion of Indonesian Oud left. So we put sales on hold for a period of time, because it's very challenging for us as a small operation to deal with orders, to deal with emails, with all these different requests. And then we also have to look after the proper production, selecting some of the defected bottles and this and that. So we couldn't really handle the process as some multi-million brands could have done better probably, but we need time, and sometimes we put things on hold, right? So things will be available, the leftovers will be available later on tomorrow, I think.
Oh, awesome. That's great. No, thanks for sharing. I do just want to take a moment, since we're at the 20-minute mark and we hopped in, because I feel like we're such good friends. We can just jump right into it nowadays. But for somebody who wandered in and they have no idea what they're watching, this is Russian Adam of Feel-Oud, Areej Dore. He is back for his fourth interview here on Channel Ram. And so if you have questions, you can either just put them into the live stream and I'll try to implement them periodically as we're going along, or I will star them and I'll ask them to Adam later on in the video. I do have sort of a list of questions that I've come up with, some friends have come up with some. So I'll go through some of these, but if you have questions, it's an open forum. Adam's an open book. Leave it in the comments and I'll make sure to ask him. So speaking of sort of the mission of Areej Dore is to sort of show the world, you know, what real oud and real musk and real rose in a composition smell like, because like you said, we're losing it. These brands, they take pictures with real oud chips in the background and Taif rose on the side, and then when you test it, you find out there's no oud and no Taif rose, right? But the pictures show lush Taif roses, and you know how the game goes. But your mission was to show us what it really smells like when you're using those type of ingredients. Do you feel like you've accomplished your goal with the perfumes you've released so far? And do you think that this goal is sustainable in the future with the price of natural ingredients continuing, it seems like, to go up? It just seems every year the prices are higher and higher and higher.
Yeah, definitely. It is a challenge. It is a big challenge, but it's definitely possible. We've spoken in our previous interviews about the Kinam and how it is developing, how it is really changing the perception of people in terms of the oud and its quality and its affordability. Like some say, soon there will be so many planted Kinam trees that the prices will decrease dramatically, and then it will be more affordable and people will have more chances to use it in their perfume compositions. Hopefully people will have chances to distill high quality plantation agarwood oils and then use it in their perfumes. But you see, at the end of the day, it's not about the state of affairs in oud world or with the ingredients. It's about our own perception and values, I guess, because if brand is looking to make money and that's the main agenda and target, it doesn't matter if Kinam is a bit more expensive or a bit more affordable. They're not going to use it. They're not going to invest in the ingredients. They will just focus on making money as much as possible and using as cheap ingredients as possible. So I guess it's not only changing the fragrance itself, but changing the way we think about natural materials in general.
Can you give us an update on sort of the Plantation oud, if you will? Because I know last time you talked about how the agarwood in some of the Plantation oud is actually exceeding wild oud. Can you give us an update on sort of the world of Plantation oud, or do you think there's any alternatives outside of Plantation oud for us now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of slow in learning, and I done my own distillations, and then I tested my own oils, and I kind of learning from my own personal experience, because you see, I found it very, very challenging to judge quickly when it comes to oud, when it comes to plantation, when it comes to different grades, different materials, when we're talking about different species of oud, because every distiller have his own truth, kind of. If you ask Taha about distillation, he will tell you something. If you ask some other distillers, they will tell you something else. If you ask me, I will tell you, well, it's completely the opposite for me. So it's really hard to say because there are so many factors. It's not only that, you know, plantation become more spread and we will have more Kinam trees in the future. It's not necessarily means that we will have more high quality agarwood oils. You know, it's not always correlated, unfortunately. But I do feel like, yeah, the future is very bright and we have very big chances of getting amazing quality wood for very affordable price, but it's not like certain or anything. But at the same time, you know, nothing can replace old, wild, aged agarwood. It always will be in high demand. And for the sprayable perfumes like this, yeah, you do have Indonesian Oud, which is kind of plantation mixed with wild and certain new extraction methods applied, and then you get a good result, which is kind of mind blowing. But to have Cambodian style of oud, where it's, I mean, it has to age for like 20, 30 years plus to be as amazing as it is, you know, and you cannot go against that. But yeah, it's just, I guess, time will show. Only time will show. We never know.
Yeah. And just for, you know, a rookie like me, I've always said that I am not an oud head. I'm turning into one, but I'm not one from for decades. You know, I don't have the experience that some people have with oud. But if the agarspirol is sort of a quality test, so to speak, does the wild oud tree, let's say that 100, 200-year-old grandmother tree in the forest that's never been discovered versus a plantation tree that has higher agarspirol, does that wild tree bring something maybe to the table that you just will not find in a younger plantation tree? Or is the agarspirol content sort of the one of the end all be all tests for quality?
Not really. It's just one of the factors. You see, same like santalol and sandalwood oil. Not every sandalwood oil with a higher percentage of santalol actually gonna smell better than, you know, some of the aged sandalwood oils, for example, because some of the aged sandalwood oils, in my personal experience, the santalol level drop, you know, but they get something else in their scent profile that kind of capturing our attention and even making it more like seductive and more enjoyable. So agarspirol is just one small aspect, like more scientific side of things, where yes, it is important, but it's not the most important thing. And obviously, wild agarwood from all trees will be always superior if distilled properly and done well, and everything will be always superior than plantation. But then after like 10 or 20 years, we'll come to a point where these Kinam trees from plantation will be like 30 or 40 years old, right? And then what those gonna offer, some people say it will be actually comparable to the wild variety, but we never know. We shall see.
It's very rare nowadays to come across any more wild trees. Now in the jungle, it just seems like so much of the low hanging fruit has been harvested, right? And what you do find is either guarded by some, you know, some temple somewhere or a tribe, or, you know, and they know what they have. They know they have something special. You're not just going to wander off into the forests of Thailand or Cambodia and find these 100-year-old agarwood trees growing anymore, right? It just seems like that's something that the world is just losing. It's just a rarity that we just don't find very much anymore.
Yeah, the topic is controversial. It's very controversial type of topic because there are much more to it. You know, uh, some people might be guarding those 100, 200, 300 years old agarwood trees, but they might be completely empty inside and have zero wood. You see, so that's an important point. Whereas, you know, 10 years old plantation Kinam can give you sinking agarwood and so on. So it's very, very tricky to say the least. And then even for the future upcoming, we can touch upon that gently. But you just remind me of this for our Bortnikov collaboration with Feel-Oud for sprayable perfumes at Feel-Oud. One of the perfumes contain oud oil from 100 plus years old trees, but those trees were kind of infected by human without chemicals or anything. They were drilled like they would drill plantation trees just to make sure that the resin formation will take place. Because you see, finding 100 years old tree is not enough. There are many trees of agarwood in the jungle, but not many of them infected. And
Correct.
the main issue is that even some of the hunters not experienced enough, so they start carting those trees. They start looking for wood, whereas it has no wood inside at all, and it takes some experience to know before you even come closer to the tree whether it is infected or not, and how to deal with it properly, how to treat it properly. So we do have many gray areas here and there. Like there are wild trees that people try to infect and come to them later just to make sure that there is at least some wood in it. And yeah, the topic is very complex, very controversial, and it's not like black and white, like, oh, there's no wild agarwood anymore. There is wild agarwood. It's quite plenty in some particular areas, like Philippines, for example. We're still getting very large number of wild wood coming from these areas because it's been discovered quite recently. But then, yeah, we have places like Sabah, Borneo in Malaysia, where wood also was very common. And then within few years, it's kind of stopped because there is not much left, or people don't know how to identify, very old infected trees, and they just, cut whatever. And yeah, we see Philippines now is getting a lot of wood, but much less than you saw like few years ago. A few years ago, you would see very big, like hand-sized pieces of sinking agarwood coming from Philippines, and it's very affordable, very cheap. But now it's less and less. Like I'm not seeing much like very big pieces of wood, wild sinking wood, and the prices now even for tiny chips are crazy. So that's the state of agarwood. It's very controversial, and it's like a gray area. You cannot say it certainly. What's going on. Only future will tell.
Very interesting. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Let me show you what I swapped recently. So I had two bottles of Russian Oud, and I actually traded one, which I never planned to do. I was going to keep it as a backup, but I've been hunting this forever, and I found it from a friend.
Wow, that's good.
Oh, my favorite sandalwood fragrance of all time. Look at this presentation. I know this is old, but holding this in my hand is like, I mean, who else would do a presentation like this? So tell us why you think the presentation is so important. I know why, but why is the presentation taking the time? Because someone left me a comment and said, I don't like presentations like this because it wastes money, and just give me a plain cardboard box. So in your opinion, why spend the money on something so beautiful like this?
Yeah, definitely, man. If you treat perfume as a byproduct, you just spray and go. It's like a toothpaste for you. Then yes, you don't need a good presentation. You definitely waste money on it and this and that. But if you treat perfumery as an art form, then presentation is just a part of it. It's just a big part of it. And I go with what Coty have said. Something along the lines that he mentioned, like perfume is looked at just as much as it is worn. So you wear perfume, even I would say less often than you look at it, right? You look at it every single day. If you have a nice shelf and your bottles are there and you're looking at it every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, but you're wearing it like once a week or something. So presentation is extremely important. And as I mentioned this in previous videos, that I try to encapsulate as many art forms as possible in making a fragrance. So the art starts obviously with distillation, selecting the raw materials, doing different distillation techniques, different maceration techniques, different smoke infusion techniques. So it starts from very, very beginning, going into many different directions, and it's getting very complicated, artistic, and this and that, different art of extraction is present. And then obviously you have your juice that you value so much, that you put so much love and effort into, and then you're thinking like, okay, I can release it today and in some cheap Chinese stock bottle, or I can spend like 5 or 6 months or 1 year designing something truly exceptional that will, like, I don't know, just give you amazing experience, not only juice itself, but the bottle it sits in. And I mean, I also thinking that some people, they're going to keep it for years. Like some of these bottles probably will be sold after like 50 years, after 100 years. Maybe some people will be selling those bottles or buying them or using them or whatnot. And that's why I was thinking always about stuff like, it's important to mention a year on the box and the note list and the ingredients and the story behind it, because now you see we're hunting those vintage fragrances. We buy it and we like, okay, what year it's from? Oh, because its sticker is like this and the name is this and that, maybe it's from this year and that year. And I was like, come on, man, why did not just put the year on the box? That's it. Make it easy for us, give us a bit more pleasure, make it very, very clear. And that's it, basically, like a small thing, but so important. Why they not put the notes of ingredients? Because we have to go and see all these silly websites. One website say this ingredient, another website say another ingredient. One website say this perfumer, another website say another perfumer, and you're like sitting there. Okay, yeah, maybe I'm smelling plum, maybe it's peach, maybe it's I don't know what, and it's like a bit complicated. Yeah, small thing, but for us perfume lovers, it's very important. So then I'm thinking like,
Yes.
okay, I must put this, I must mention this. Transparency, clarity will just offer you another dimension to this amazing experience. And obviously the bottle, I mean, it stay on your shelf for years, and it's like an art object, I feel, and it must be amazing.
Beautiful. Great answer. Let's catch up on some of the comments. So Simo says, please say to Adam to do the future composition with deer musk, civet, castoreum, like War and Peace too. Well, there you go. There's a recommendation for you.
Yeah, I see, man. Some people, they always want me to go in one direction. Like they like War and Peace, they like this style of fragrance, so they want me to do all my work in this particular style. And maybe I wish this could be possible, but it's so boring. It's so boring because I do like War and Peace. I do like these challenging fragrances, one of my favorite genre. But at the end of the day, if I keep making things like this, I will be bored. I will be, not excited. I will be let down because I cannot wear War and Peace every single day. I need to give it some proper occasions like Ottoman Empire, like every Friday or something like this. The same thing of composing fragrances. I have to go different directions, different ways in order to be excited. And in order to love War and Peace as much as I love it, I have to make freshies. I have to make other type of scents, to really appreciate this scent profile. But I definitely will do something along those lines in the future. And I already have one or two fragrances that maybe will be very, very not similar, but in the same style that will be released in the future, nearest future.
Excellent. No, I appreciate you sharing that. I know you talked about how important it is as an artist to try a lot of different things and go in many different directions. And I think we'll talk about that some more as the stream goes on. Dushan says, hello. Hello, Dushan. Thanks for being here. Happy Friday. That's right. Happy Friday. It's a beautiful day indeed. Well, Friday here. I think it's Saturday morning where Adam's at in Indonesia. Dushan says, Russian Adam is the Middle Eastern Andy Tower. How's that? You're the Middle Eastern Andy Tower, Adam?
Yeah, I always admire this artist. I used to watch his Instagram and I was like, wow, see this artist, he's doing things by his own hands and this and that. And he got quite a few followers. And now, alhamdulillah, I'm so blessed and happy, thank God, that I look at myself and I have also quite a few followers that enjoy, what I do with my own hands. So yeah, that's really an honor.
Yes, an honor and a blessing. Mark said he had to set an alarm to be here. Glad you're here, Mark. Yes, thanks for being here, Glitch. Let's see. Let's see if we have some questions from the chat. Yes, very excited, Miguel. Thanks for being here. War and Peace 2, please, Adam. Another one. War and Peace 2. Evening, Micah.
It will be War and Peace 3, not 2.
That's right. We already have a 2.
But not
Ajay's wearing Ombre de Coco as his scent of the day. Thanks for being here, Rachel. We're way behind on the comments. Good evening, Kevin. I'll be smelling along with Indonesia. Yeah, maybe I'll spray some others and we'll have Adam talk about it. Tom Lyon, welcome. Rich, thanks for being here. Indonesian Oud. I get a smoky cola oud in the dry down in Indonesian Oud, Andy says. Do you get a cola aspect from Indonesian Oud?
Yeah, man, I'm very happy to hear people getting cola because it's like a very rare note in oud, and it's very much appreciated by oud lovers. And also, people often mention like it's reminiscent of burning oud wood, and this is exactly what I was going for, and why I decided to release this perfume. As soon as I smelled it, I was like, "Wow, this have to be experienced by a wider audience because it really represents the scent profile of gently hitting oud wood at a particular stage. And it's very rare to capture this type of a scent, especially at a given price, very affordable, because normally only very, very high, luxurious incense grade oud oils capture this aspect of oud, and you have to really pay a lot for this experience.
So what is this new extraction add to the history of Indonesian Oud, this CO2 extraction?
Yeah, so basically we pull out from agarwood the most heavy, the most resinous aroma molecules, the molecules that we unable to extract via distillation. Distillation gives us those volatile molecules, right? Those that rise with the steam, and then the steam is condensed, and then we get this very volatile type of notes. That's why distilled oils, they're more heavy on the top notes, heart notes. They have this volatile aroma molecules in them. Whereas this Indonesian oud, it's all about base notes. It's all about base notes, very, very heavy, dense, thick base notes. And why people getting so much going on in scent in terms of the scent profile? Like they got nuances like spicy nuances, resinous nuances, cola nuances, woody nuances, different types of nuances. Only the spices, some smelling cinnamon, some smelling clove, some getting nutmeg, some getting something else. It's because we pulled out so much more from the raw material than traditional distillation would be able to do. We do missing those volatile top notes, and it's not projecting so much, it's not very, very volatile, but as an opposite effect, we got those amazing, very wide range of those amazing resinous base notes. And this is like the main feature of this particular composition and this extraction method for that matter.
Beautiful. Thanks for sharing. Ajay says Indian Oud is so damn awesome. Well, which one's your favorite, Adam? I told you mine. Is yours Indian Oud? Is that your favorite from the collection still?
Yeah, no doubt, Indian Oud for sure, because its scent is like it's something else. It's not just Indian Oud; it's aged Indian Oud, and I believe maybe like wild variety, or it's really hard to say for me. Wild Indian Oud is again very controversial topic because India is the main place for agarwood since like a few thousand years ago, right? And even back then they start planting the trees. So I believe most of the trees in India are planted. They're all, or like most of it, are being planted by people. So I cannot say that Indian oud is wild or whatever because of that reason. And For me, it's the smell of old Indian oud, whereas it's quite different to the smell of like recent plantation Indian oud, which is like harvested at the age of 10, 20, 30, and then you get totally different scent profile. Here, I'm getting so much of this, antique type of vibes, plus this amazing fruity nuances, very dark, almost leathery type of fruits, and it's really really addictive. Plus I took this very old, again sinking Indian oud chips that are completely extinct. This is not like a joke or anything. If you go even to some of the biggest suppliers of oud in the world, who have like millions of trees and a lot of oils and a lot of stuff in their disposal, ask them for sinking Indian oud, highest quality sinking Indian agarwood chips, they will tell you, no, we don't have it. It's almost non-existent. So I took those chips from the very, very old Royal Collection stash, and then I burned them and infused into this scent profile. So apart from this aged smell of Indian agarwood oil, you get this also amazingly soft, leathery, almost like silky, smooth scent of the oud chips itself. So this is like, I don't know, like nothing I
It's
can
heaven.
imagine.
It's heaven. It's fantastic. Do you pick up Kinam nuances in the history of Chinese Ood?
Not really, maybe only some of this like bitter medicinal greenness, because at the end of the day, Chinese Kinam, I mean, the history of Chinese Oud contains plantation Chinese Kinam oil, right? So it's like it's grown in China, it's made in China, and it does have some of these nuances to it. But I would say, for me personally, Chinese Oud animalic nature completely overshadows everything, and then it's getting like a bit I don't know how to describe it, like less animalic and a bit more woody, a bit more grassy, a bit more medicinal. So this type of notes, they overshadow this like soft minty green type of thing they have in common.
Yes, it's a tough one to describe, but I really enjoy it. I like the animalic facet of it, and that history of Chinese oud, and even the wild Chinese oud used in Chinese oud. I don't think I've smelled another oud that has smelled like this before. This is unique to my nose. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a oud specialist or anything, but I haven't smelled any other oud that smells like this exactly. It's unique.
Yeah, this type of Chinese food quite unique because done in Arab style, meaning they fermented raw materials prior to distillation. Whereas in that part of the world, normally this type of scent profile is really not welcome. And if they distill Chinese wood, they used to distill Chinese wood. It's normally done without fermentation, so you would get more of a sweet, flowery notes, more of the woody, vanillic type of notes. You would not get normally animalic scent profile with the Chinese oud unless it's fermented on purpose and done in this particular style.
Interesting. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Let's see. Musk in Heaven says he's tracking his Indonesian oud every day. The anticipation is killing him. Rachel says the sprayer on these bottles is perfect. The sprayer on these bottles is amazing. Fragrance Enjoyer, thanks for being here. Good evening, Alan. Here's a question. Adam, do you think the history of Atar collection is more misunderstood in the West than in the East, where people are more aware of Atars?
I'm not quite sure. I see people from all around the world finding something they might like, but I think you need to understand the context in order to understand the full collection. Like, you need to really understand what I was going for, and then you can appreciate the scent profiles and different styles that I utilized for this particular collection. And it's good if people have some experience with the Indian traditional atars. So if you know your shamama, if you know majmua, if you know like motia atar, if you know Indian sandalwood, then probably you will understand and appreciate this collection more. But again, if you look at it like, oh, this is Russian Adams, or this is going to be something like unwearable, this is will be like beast mode, animalic style, dark, challenging, deer musk, ambergris, then you will be disappointed. But if you're looking at it like, okay, I never tried Indian atars, and what I tried was a bit off-putting. Let me try this Indian collection. Maybe it could bring something to the table. Then you might be quite impressed with it. And mainly, it was for the new markets, for the new people coming to Areej. You see, like we have Indonesian Ood in the history of Oud collection. It's like a step number one, right? In terms of affordability, in terms of how easy is the scent profile, in terms it's not challenging, this type of thing. So the Indian collection as a whole, apart from like Beauty and the Beast, Ambre de Coco, it was made for more and more people to get into Areej, to get into this more daring, more challenging type of sense. And believe it or not, I think I shared this before, but I have some people coming and trying like Gulhina and saying like, wow, this is animalic. So, and they're like, wow, this is animalic. And then after smelling the Malik al Motia, like, oh, this is so indolic, this is so challenging. And then going to Ambre de Coco, and they're not as shocked already. They kind of prepared because they smelled Gulhina, then they smelled Malik al Motia, and they kind of can start to slowly digest like Ambre de Coco and Beauty and the Beast. So yeah, those are like easy compositions if you compare them to stuff like, I don't know, Garden Noir and War and Peace and this type of things. But it serves its purpose. It serves its purpose, and I believe it is successful because people do coming to Areej through this collection. But some of those like hardcore Areej lovers who want extreme stuff, of course, they might be like disappointed, or they might buy only like Beauty and the Beast, and that's it.
Right. I think I the more time I've spent with this and the more time I've spent with the rest of your collection, the more I understand what you were trying to do with the history of Atar collection. It was really supposed to frame the Atars, the Indian Atars, because I don't know the Indian Atars. I've never smelled Shamama Atar or Majmua Atar or anything like that, but I've got to sort of smell the DNA here. And so I think you're exactly right as far as people expecting you to just remake Russian Oud over and over. They're not. I don't think some people understood what you were really going for here because they didn't understand Indian Atars.
Yeah, I try my best to explain this, but some people, they just maybe not pay attention. They don't even have time to watch some of those videos, or some just think like whatever I say is for promotional purpose, so they don't really pay attention. They just care like the smell or not. Whatever he says is, it's rubbish. What he's talking about is his Atar and that Atar. It just give us dear Musk, and that's gonna punch into our. We close our eyes and the jaw is open, and that's it. But yeah, the purpose was different, and I think it was well achieved.
So yes, the purpose was different, and that brings me to a question I was going to ask you later, but I'll ask you now because over the last week or two, I've been reading Claire's Take One Thing Off blog, which I know you love, and she says that you wear multiple hats in the perfume world. So you're a perfumer, you're a distiller, you're an educator, and you're a patron of the fragrance world. Is one of these hats, you would say, maybe more important than another in your evolution as a creator? And is it hard to cycle between one hat and the other, back and forth between a perfumer, distiller, creator, fragrance lover?
Yeah, man, those lines strike me really hard because it all comes naturally, but at the end of the day, it's not very beneficial because you see some people confused. You see some people confused, like, oh, what he's doing, like what he's trying to achieve. who is he, what what Areej Dore is all about. And this is not something positive, because I want to be 100% clear. Like, I want to be clear in my description of a fragrance, which year it's been made, what ingredients I used, what's the story behind it, so people have a better understanding of the composition. And same thing here, for people to have better understanding of Areej Dore, they need to know who am I and what I'm doing. But when I'm seeing, like, one day I'm distilling oud, another day I'm a perfumer, another day I'm making videos about the history of Atar, it's a bit confusing. So I really don't know who I am, if you could say so. But yeah, I look at myself as a distiller first of all, but then it's kind of grow into become a perfumer, and I'm really happy with that. And now I truly believe that distillation is the foundation of perfumery, and I think that everyone who, like they say, like, you have to study chemistry in order to be a perfumer, I would say you have to study distillation in order to be a good, like, artisanal perfumer, if you're looking into being heavy, natural, and all this type of thing. But I'm also happy to be educator, but it's not really my purpose. I just want to enrich people's experience in terms of my art. When I present something, I want people to have a bit of a background of what's going on, so hopefully they can understand it more easily, they can appreciate it a bit more. But I'm not really into, like, delivering perfume speeches or telling people how to do things, because there are no rules here really. And I got multiple requests, people asking, like, oh, you need to make courses, you need to teach perfumery. I mean, I don't know perfumery. Who am I to do that, right? I'm just a guy who made his first formula, Ottoman Empire, without any knowledge in perfumery whatsoever. And until this day, it's my favorite perfume of all time. I mean, this says something, right? It says something that you don't have to study, you don't have to do anything. Just go with the flow, follow your heart, do the best you can, and then something amazing might come out of it.
Beautiful. I mean, I personally don't think it's I don't think it was a bad thing that she was saying, because I think, you're an educator in what you present to us. And I think that the mission statement of Areej Dore to me is crystal clear. Bring these materials that I never would have gotten to smell personally. If it weren't for brands like you, Bortnikov, it would still be Tom Ford's Oud Wood for me. It would still be, Versace Pour Homme Oud Noir. Never would I get to smell stuff like this. So for me, I think she's saying that maybe you accomplish all of these things through your art. But that's maybe just the way that I took it. But I thought that was a very interesting quote by her, because you do touch on many different parts of the fragrance world that other brands don't even get. They won't even think about getting near, and it's a necessary hole that you fill, because if we rely on these brands that only care about money, we'll never smell this. I mean, unless you're going to make a trip to Thailand and buy real oud yourself and burn it, for me, I would never smell stuff like this. So in a way, I think you are sort of an educator through the fragrance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, man, totally. She just saying facts. I mean, I was struck because I realized that I'm wearing many hats, and sometimes it's confusing to people. That's all. That's what I was just a bit worried about, that I need to be a bit more clear, even as clear as I try to be. I have to work harder and be more clear to really present who am I and what Areej Dore stands for. But yeah, coming back to this question, I can definitely say that yes, in the West, the collection was perhaps misunderstood. Number one, because the people don't have much knowledge with Indian atars, and number two, because they were expecting something else from me, probably for these two reasons. Whereas in the East, people have a bit more knowledge regarding the atars. And believe it or not, some Arabs, they do appreciate some, like, fresher, more easygoing sense. Like, for them, challenging stuff is like, okay, what's the point? We have so many challenging stuff. We have so many ouds around. we're already used to this very, very heavy type of Orientals, right? But when you give them stuff like Gulhina, when you give them stuff like Mysore and Senza, they're like, oh, okay, that's nice. We can kind of wear it on a regular basis, and it's something new and it's something fresh. And I have many people who purchased the entire set, and they were like, this is one of the best things you ever done, because it's so useful, this collection. It can be worn, actually, not like War and Peace or Ottoman Empire that just for 1 day a week or 1 month a year. This is like the stuff you wear daily. You grab it, you wear it, you go, and that's it.
Yes. Yeah, beautiful. Let's see. Let's catch up on these comments here. Paolo says 2 legends. You're a legend, Adam. Just accept it, dude. You're a legend. Only got to try History of Indonesian Ood, and it's amazing. Mick says that collection was not made by Adam. Those were atars he came across, like the quality of, and decided to resell. Is he talking about these right here, or is he talking about the actual in spray format ones?
Yeah, I guess he's talking about the oil atars that
Yeah.
I introduced before or after. I already forgot the history of atar collection. So the purpose of those was, yes, to kind of give people idea of what really atars are, because as I said, not many Western people have chance to smell like shamama, majmua, but I didn't want to give them those. I wanted to give them something that is a bit more like a step below, not as complex, not as like advanced, not as challenging, just like sandalwood and rose, sandalwood and this, sandalwood and that, just for them to really feel the ingredients first before they dive into this more complex sprayable format of compositions.
Yes, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Ajay says, tried oud and Indian oud yesterday. Mind blown. I found Chinese oud much more animalic. Yes, maybe that's why I like it so much. I love my animalics. Seems like everyone has gotten their Indonesian oud but me. It's coming. Patience, Musk in heaven. Patience. If my memory recalls right, the sandalwood used in those Indian atars, it was distilled by Russian Adam, and most of the ingredients in that collection also. Okay.
If he referring to the atars like Genda, Motia, Gulab, those were 100% sourced from the source, from the India. Those were not made by me. Sandalwood oil was not distilled by me. I'll only included one sandalwood oil from Feel-Oud that is like 20 plus years old, which is also obviously not been made by me. So the only effort there was me selecting this particular atars and lab testing them to make sure they are 100% pure and of the highest quality, because I mean atars just like oud. I mean, you can go online or eBay, you can find oud for $1. For 3 gram, you can find oud for $5, for $10, for $100, for $1,000, up to like $10,000, and you can see like the difference. It's all about the quality, the purity, and so on.
Yes, that's right. Musk in heaven says he would like to see the dent brother Adam has made in his bottles of oud collection. He probably finished them all by now.
Yeah, you can see my Indian oud. So that's the way it is after like 3 Fridays, I think.
Yes, here's mine, barely spraying.
Yeah, man, you haven't even worn it. You need to make a separate video once you wear Indian oud, like full day wear.
I will.
And you can share it with us. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Mick says he'd like to see a collection based around sandalwood. That would be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. But that will be extremely challenging, because I could easily say that the history of Atar collection is the collection based on sandalwood. From those,
that's right. That's a good point.
How many perfumes are there? Like 7 or what? 5 of them maybe contain heavy, very heavy percentage of sandalwood. Like a Garden Noir, maybe 30% sandalwood, or more, maybe 50% sandalwood. other Mysore and Senza, obviously sandalwood. Gulhina have sandalwood. Motia have sandalwood. All of them almost have sandalwood. But
So,
for it's hard to notice.
yes, Ajay sent me civet balm, and this is a beautiful sandalwood. I love the sandalwood in this. Once the civet starts to sort of give way a little bit as the hours tick by, if you want to smell like amazing sandalwood, something like this will get you right into the ballpark.
Yeah, or even pure atars, those like gulab, hina, and motia, those also can be called like sandalwood fragrances because you can clearly, very clearly see the sandalwood notes coming in after the flower. So you get sandalwood, then you get the sandalwood. Whereas something like Senza, or I mean, sorry, the Santal Galore, like it was sandalwood fragrance, right? But many people were upset at the time. They were like, "What's this? We don't get much sandalwood there."
Oh, this is my favorite. I think this is my favorite sandalwood of all time.
But how strong the sandalwood note is for you? Is it like from the beginning or in the heart notes, in the base? How you feel it?
I don't remember. I don't remember where the sandalwood notes come in. I just remember thinking maybe it's because you blended it with oud. Maybe it's because, it's animalic and thick and heavy and I like that. But man, I just fell in love with Santal Galore. I need to wear it again because up until this bottle just arrived a couple days ago, I only had the tiniest little decant somebody sent me. This is it. This is what I was working off of. And so I did a video on it, and this turned into the bottle. I liked it so much. So yeah, but definitely I got sandalwood into the heart and into the dry down. But maybe the reason I liked it so much is because it was unique with that durian note, and it was blended with some animalics and some heft. I like the heaviness.
Yes, there is musk. There is good dose of deer musk in the
Deer
base.
musk, that's right. And did you use the outer skin that makes it more animalic, or did you use the inner pod?
I think both. I think both.
I've come to learn I like that outer leathery animalic touch from the outside.
Yes, indeed. I come to know I like both together. I like both together the most because those like gives you the full spectrum of deer musk experience.
So let's switch gears and let's talk about the modern state of perfume. So I know you're a big frag head. I know you smell a lot of stuff. So tell us, what are your opinions on where we are as a perfume culture? And have you discovered anything lately? I know you smell lots of things. So have you discovered anything lately that has either moved you or that you love or hate or anything like that?
Oh yeah, man! I always excited to travel to Dubai because that's the place where I can like see new things, smell some niche fragrances, meet some people, and obviously like smell some oud and other type of classical Oriental things. But yeah, man, I would say only artisanal factor impresses me and delivers something that I'm really excited about. But other way is just vintages. That's it.
So, you have completely come around on vintages, right? You agree with me that they actually are far superior to the stuff that we smell that the houses are putting out nowadays.
Yeah, of course, man. In terms of the value, like the price you can get some of these vintages is impossible to do today. It's like almost like with oud, all these stories that yeah, this oud is distilled 100 years ago, and to distill it today, it would cost us how many thousands of dollars. And there is some truth to it. It's not easy to replicate something that's been done 10 or 20 years ago. And same thing with the vintages. Like some of the latest things I have here, like this. I seen it also in one of your latest videos.
That is
It's
fantastic.
It's not that old, but it's really amazing, right? Sublime by John Pato.
Have you smelled the modern, like the other bottle I showed, the one that looks like this?
Yeah, exactly, man. I think I told you this before. Like I smell these new bottles, all of them, like 1000, Sublime, and Joy, and I had an impression that it's like bad clones or something. It's like something that they try to do and then they failed miserably, but they still done it, and it's like it smells really like strange and off-putting, and I don't know. Whereas here you have like amazing balance, amazing
Oh,
top notes, the bass notes, this ambery dry down is just incredible, right?
I think Jean Carlio is one of the greatest perfumers of all time. The guy that did this and Patou Porom and Ma Liberté. And if you haven't smelled his other work, like it might be hard to find Patou Porom and Patou Porom Privé. You know what I should do? I should make you another care package and we should do a live stream where you smell some of those vintages you haven't smelled yet live on the stream with everybody. I bet they would love that. Like first impression, Russian Adam first impressions of vintages he's never smelled. Only thing is it takes like $150 for me to ship fragrances all the way to Indonesia. I'm gonna need
It's,
to set up a Patreon or something.
it's worth it, man. Come on. I want some gifts.
But yes, this is very good. If you can find it in this bottle, I would highly urge you to go for it.
And the bottle itself is so solid, right? It's
Fantastic.
so thick and heavy and so well done. Like you holding it in your hands and you're like, yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. This is really feels like a perfume, like a proper perfume.
Yes. It
Yes,
smells
that
like there's real ambergris in here to me.
possibly. Then this Ambre Antique by Coty from 90s. This is amazing addition also since like a few months I got it. And this is like very, very unusual mixture of very modern, fresh, fruity top notes and with this style of a heavy ambery like type of a base. Yeah, so this is like very, very unique type of composition, very fresh, very fruity on top, but then it goes into this very, very old school ambery base. I was very, very glad to get this bottle. Was also a bargain, was nearly full, but I decanted to a small sprayer and then I use it in a sprayer. Very, very beautiful, like very unusual, slightly synthetic, but beautiful fruity top notes and this very dark, heavy ambery base. Very beautiful
What a
composition.
bottle.
I wish I could find the original from 20s, but this is 90s re-edition, and then it's very well done. Another thing, just out of curiosity, I bought this. It was extremely expensive and extremely small. It's by Violet Perfumes or something. Musk Concentrate or Musk Concrete. So this
Let me
is
blow
like
you up. Let's see.
this
Let me
is
make you
apparent.
bigger.
This
Solo.
is
All right.
this is apparently the only French old perfume with real deer musk note that I ever smelled.
Really?
Yes.
How old is that? 100 years old?
Yeah, I guess from 20s, from 1920s. So you have this bee, which is similar to Guerlain bee, but it's a different brand, and it's called
Ah, Violet. Yes, yes,
yes.
yes. Did you know they made a comeback? So there's actually a group of people that bought that house and they revitalized it.
Yeah, I heard something, but I mean, with the state of affairs, I'm not sure. Like, unless they anti-regulation and everything, not sure what they can replicate with modern regulations.
Right. How is that, by the way?
Yeah, it's very, very French, very, very soft, like fleeting, powdery type of irisy style. But then at the back, you have this leathery musk type of thing going on, like like they almost smells like they almost tinctured the grains with the skin, with everything, and it gives you this very soft, leathery type of feel. I wouldn't say it's like wow, it blew me away. It's my favorite musk fragrance, but it's just a bit too soft for my taste. Maybe it's like also the top notes evaporated, but it's very well done. Very well done. Amazing French style perfumery. Very soft, irisy with the touch of rose, touch of jasmine, violet, and then you have this leathery musk in the base that kind of supports it and gives this beautiful contrast. But it's not like heavily animalic or anything. But I can feel the real musk, and I was happy because since very long I was looking for French fragrance that actually have real musk inside, and I couldn't find it.
Yes, I remember you saying you were disappointed when you found that even back in the 1920s they were already using synthetic musks.
Yeah, exactly. Another amazing fragrance. It's like until this day, it's my favorite vintage fragrance. I think it's Coty Muse. I decanted to my own bottle.
I've
Coty
never
Muse.
smelled it.
It has an amazing musk note, but synthetic musk, like one of those Nitra musks. But it's done so beautifully and so amazingly well. It is honey, a lot of honey, those beeswax, honey type of amazing sweetness than your classical French bouquet, rose, jasmine, ylang ylang maybe. And again, very dark, sticky, resinous, ambery base. But what makes it special is this animalic honey, almost like in Boss Number One, but
Oh,
more like more authentic, more old, and more sticky, and more animalic, and more like deer musky. Whereas Boss Number One is it's a bit like more civet kind of thing. Here it's more like deer musk kind of note with the honey. It's just like so dense, so thick, so addictive. What I do, I put my drop of my favorite pure musk oil. I put a tiny drop of musk oil, and then I layer on top with this Coty Muse, and that's it. It's just the one of the best things ever.
the best musks, huh? So
Yes.
there was a question from the audience that someone sent to me previously. They said, if you could sit down with any perfumer from the past, who would it be? Would it be Francois Coty?
I guess so. I guess so. I like his view of the business. I like how he start to go into these different directions. How he start expanding, yet keeping up the quality. I think this is like we have something to learn there. Because it's extremely challenging for me. I would say to bring my perfumes to the world, start making like thousands and thousands of bottles at the same level of quality, I think it's impossible, especially
Right.
with the just like the history of oud. Like you cannot make like even 1,000 bottles of Kinam Ood. I mean, it's maybe you can, but you need to be like a billionaire, I guess.
um, Musk in Heaven says these bottles that talking about the history of oud bottles must win the best bottle design award of the year. And I agree. They should. I love the bottle design. Fantastic. Did you design this yourself?
Yeah, kind of. I had some drawings, and I was inspired, as I mentioned in the video, by those Russian old style bottles where they have this sharp angles here and there. And then I wanted to be with the stand that is made of actual glass, not the like a metal stand or anything that really gives impression of the like a crystal type of pure crystal type of bottle. And then I wanted the V shape inner, and I've been like doing this for many, I don't know, months or years. Like the actual V-shaped bottle is extremely difficult to produce. Like you cannot produce V-shaped inner if the bottle is big, right? If the bottle is big and thick and it's all surrounded with glass, you cannot make V shape for some reason. I thought like, okay, now we almost flying to the Mars. We were so advanced as a nation, but some things are like very challenging to do. And I was like, what are you talking about? I thought you can do anything. They're like, no, it's impossible. You cannot do it. And I was like, okay, then what if we make the shape like this? Then the inner can be V-shaped. They're like, yeah, it's possible. And I was okay. Let's try it. And surprisingly, it worked very well. And as you see, again, I have my Areej logo that you can see from the front. When you're looking at the bottle, you can see Areej logo kind of engraved, embossed from the bottom.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Really feel happy about those bottles. Alhamdulillah, really
Yes.
cool that I've been
Bottles are a work of art.
to pull this off. And sharing few things for the future. I have another new bottle coming, so this is like something else. And obviously, some people will like it, some people will hate it, but I absolutely love it. And it took me again several different factories working together, and this failed and that failed, and then slowly I got the people who said like, okay, we can try to make it, but we're not sure. It's crazy like how some things are very difficult to put into reality. You have some ideas, it's often hard to put into a fragrance, and same thing goes for the bottles. You have amazing ideas, but it's hard to make it happen. It's very hard to achieve success and to make it like a good quality and no defects and this and that. It's so much work.
That is the most expensive part. Many people say is the mold of the bottle.
Yeah, we could say so. Obviously, yes. If you're doing it in good factories, yes, it is costly.
Yeah. Frito Line asks, would like to know of Adam, what is the one ingredient he thinks he was not able to properly master yet? Oh, what a question.
I would say some of the musk, because I call musk like everything animalic, right? Musk is like ambergris, castoreum, civet, deer musk, and there is this Hyraceum, the Hyrax type of musk. So Hyrax is something I think I've not been able to utilize well yet, but I might have a fragrance featuring Hyrax soon, and hopefully I will do it justice. I would say this. And then some of the oods, maybe some of the particular regions, some of the particular scent profiles of the oods, this like new generation clean type of oods. But again, I could say that I done well with Kinam Ood. I personally was not like in love with it because it's not my style of a fragrance. But then people who love Kinam, who hitting Kinam on a regular basis, who have incense and have a lot of experience with this material, they said like, "Wow, you nailed it! You nailed the smell of Kinam." And I was like, "That's great to hear."
That's what I thought when I smelled it too. I mean, I've never actually heated Kinam, but I've smelled some of the other Kinam fragrances. I smelled Agar Aura's Kemer Kinam, I think, and Ensar's Jungle Kinam, and I did some videos on those, and so I have a cursory understanding of maybe what they're going for in Kinam. And it does smell like you hit it, but I agree with you. It's not my favorite, but it's grown on me. I like it more now than I did the first time I smelled it. Wearing it as my scent of the day today, you can sort of pick out these little nuances, and there is a little bit of an irisy like nuance as well to the fragrance. So yes, I love the cap. The wooden cap is awesome. So
Yeah. What else I have here? What else I have here? So some of the recent discoveries also were some of the Sultan perfumes that came before Amouage, I think.
yes.
I was extremely like excited to try them, to have them in my collection. But then I kind of like discovered that I'm not really reaching out for them as often because like now I'm wearing this. This is like a pure oud in sprayable format, like a not Cambodian, like a Burmese clean style type of oud. It's like a bit suede, a bit leathery, but it's so aged and so refined that it's missing this, rough edges that I love. It's missing the animalic part. It's missing this challenging part. For this reason, I'm just like, I'm not digging it. I feel the quality. I'm amazed at the quality because this type of smell that today can easily sell for like $1,000-$2,000 for like small tiny bottle because of the quality of agarwood and because how old it is. But I personally, I'm like not really digging it, and I'm not really wearing it much. You see, it's like I got a few months ago, and it's almost full. And some other blends from the same collection, like rose and oud, and then some different like Taif rose and oud. Again, clean oud with Taif rose. Then some of a more like French bubblegummy, like synthetic type of a fragrance, also in this type of bottles, meaning like they had all different sorts of styles, oriental fragrances, French styles, and the oud, rose and oud, Indian style type of mukhallats where you have spices, rose, maybe jasmine added to it. So I was extremely excited to have it in the collection, but then I like not sure if it's really like my taste because it's a bit too safe, a bit too old, a bit too refined, maybe. I don't know, but still, I'm really glad to have it. Then another fragrance is Nice Tobacco from my dear friend Fort and Manley. This is a beautiful, very dry, slightly sweet tobacco smell. It's like you're smelling a pipe or like you're smelling those, bags of very, very sticky old tobacco. Very nice tobacco fragrance.
I've never smelled it, but I have my very first Fort and Manley on the way. You know which one it is?
Which one?
Bortnikov's Purple Hat.
Yeah, I think I tried this. It's quite nice. I like
Yeah.
from the first line of his Sultan Mehmet or something. It's like a fresh apple,
Yeah.
and clean type of scent. It's quite nice. But I do like his new presentation. It kind of reminds me vintage Guerlain flacons, and then I like the cap. It's quite beautiful. I think I like it than more than before. Before he had this, crown type of cap, black bottles, metal labels. This is a bit more like classy to me and a bit more like vintage inspired, and I do appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, I've got one of the old bottles coming. Actually, just almost forgot, but I was saving this. I was saving this for the stream. How about an unboxing? I don't even remember what's in here, to be honest with you. It's part 2 of a haul from my good friend Hari. Why don't we open it up and see what the hell's in here?
So your addiction is still ongoing, right? So you're not
No,
trying
this is
to
the last one, I promise.
no, be honest at least with your viewers. You like your last one is it was like when? I don't know, a few months ago, and
The last of the hauls.
you keep coming up with new boxes. So you're not really trying to do anything with your addiction, like to make some sense of it, to put some limits, or how?
Yes. Yes, I'm limiting my addiction. That's right. Only one haul per day.
Oh, that's good.
So, just out of curiosity, while I'm trying to cut through this, and honestly, I don't remember what's in here because it's a 3-part haul. I did the first part yesterday. This is the second one that arrived today, and there's a third package coming soon. But have you smelling some of those old vintages? Have you smelled anything that's like inspired you to change the way that you're working?
Yeah, man, definitely, definitely. Coty is one of those few brands. I got recently the sample pack, like bunch of old Coty fragrances, and quite a few. They were like very, very, very inspiring. And yeah, I really not like it's gonna change the way I think, but it makes me want to experiment with different notes and do different type of takes on different type of ingredients. So yeah, I do for this very reason regularly smell something from your lane, from yeah, something that I never tried before.
Good to hear. So this is something you'll know and like, actually.
Oh, so this is number two. Have you tried one and two, and you prefer the two or what?
Nope, this is blind.
Oh, I see. Because from these two, I prefer one. Two is like a bit more like I don't know, maybe a bit more common. But if you're not into Middle Eastern houses and you don't have many ajmals, this is definitely worth having. This is more like Oudi, Amberi style. Whereas one is like, a bit of a French fougere with oud, which I find a bit more interesting for me personally.
How
But
about
see,
this presentation by Ajmal? My goodness, this is nice.
yeah, man, this is like on par with some of the very expensive niche, right?
This is like amouage packaging.
Yes, exactly.
Um, very nice, very nice. Imagine the essence of regality. Wow. Ajmal stepping their game up, huh? Very nice. Okay, I'll have to put this on the try list. Beautiful packaging. Maybe I'll hunt down part one. I remembered you said you liked one.
Where you got it from?
This is from a friend. This is from Hari.
I see.
He's been very kind to me, actually. He was the person who found me this. This. This is number 58.
Nice.
So he found me these, and he was very fair. Again, very, very fair. And so I couldn't say no. You know, whenever they pop up at such a fair price, I just couldn't say no. He knows I'm an addict.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. Like you're thinking you're now in a good position, but actually maybe some people now taking advantage of you, and they see you. They know like, okay, that's the guy. If we need some money, that's the guy who we're gonna go to. Oh, I see.
What is
So
this?
that's the
This is
spray. Huh?
Abdul Samad Al Qureshi.
Yes, that's the
You know this
spray. Right?
one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have you tried it?
I think so. I think so. Yeah, it's not like mind blowing or anything, but it's quite nice.
Interesting. This is a brand that I actually I didn't mind. I bought what did I buy from them? I bought this recently.
All right.
And so this is my second ASQ fragrance. So I'll have to give these a try. These are I've never smelled either of these.
They have line with the heavy natural wood, and it's quite expensive. It's quite expensive. It's like very nice quality natural wood fragrances like Kalakasi, something else, Krasna, in the sprayable bottles, like fancy bottles with the metal decoration, something. but very pricey. We're talking like $500, $1,000 type of fragrances.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
You
but
smell
this
them. I
one,
love the quality of oud.
yeah, I smell them. They are quite good. And this ones, the ones you got, I'm not sure about the like the quality of wood or is it natural or not. I didn't give it like proper attention.
The packaging is fantastic again, even on the ASQ.
Yes.
It says handcrafted crystal.
Yeah, see, one of the like hidden secrets of these brands is that they have so many branches in Middle East, like I don't know, like 1,000 branches, right? And for them to put just like let's say 100 bottles in each store, right? They can produce 100,000 bottles of a fragrance. And imagine in these volumes, you can get a very good prices for the bottles, for the boxes, for very high quality presentation. And this is one of the, I guess, one of the main reasons why they can be like $100 fragrance having this amazing box and so on, like Arabian Oud or Abdul Samad Al Quraishi. It's one of the secrets of their amazing presentation is that they produce so huge, very large numbers of particular fragrances just to put it in every store they have, and where when you have like 1,000 stores, it really makes sense, and you get a bargain in terms of a price and amazing presentation.
Wow. I can't believe they have that many stores. Um,
Arabian
how,
Oud have like 1,000 stores. Abdul Samad Al Quraishi maybe a bit less.
wow. They're everywhere.
Yeah,
Um,
they're like 7-Eleven in Saudi. Yes, it's crazy.
which Ajay asked, which ingredient are you afraid would become more and more rare over time?
I would say musk definitely, because yes, we do have Siberian musk, but it's very limited. We do have some vintage musk, but I do have some vintage musk here. It is available, but it's not going to be for very long, right? Because we do have some
Oh,
stock,
wow.
but it's not going to last forever, and then it will be gone. And I'm worried that Siberia also might strictly limit the production, I mean, the harvest
How
of
old is this, Adam?
this. Hard to say, maybe like 20, 30 years old vintage musk. Yeah.
Wow.
So I would say musk is one of the things I worry about. It might disappear within like 5, 10 years. I don't know.
Yes, I see exactly why, because really, Siberia is the only place you can legally get it from still, right?
Yes, exactly. And other places are like challenging and it's illegal and really not interested in going there. And vintage musk, I mean, now it's available in small quantities, but it will be used within a few years, and that's it. What we're going to be left with, I'm not really sure. In terms of wood, yeah, definitely wild, aged wood will be getting rarer and rarer. But then we have all this, plantations and whatnot that might soon replace it. So I would say, yeah, musk is something to be worried about for me personally.
Yeah, that makes sense. Rachel asked, do you still perform GCMS analysis on all the oud you source?
Yeah, I kind of do when something is doubtful or if I'm personally interested in the chemical composition of this or that oil, you know. But I do GCMS for other ingredients as well as wood regularly. Like every month, I would sell 5, 10, 15 samples to the lab.
I have two top questions. One, will Areej and Bortnikov collaboration perfume be released this year? Number two, will it contain oud, maybe Feel-Oud even?
Yeah, wonderful question. We kind of forgot to speak about it. It's getting closer and closer to this wonderful moment when me and Bortnikov will release Feel-Oud perfume collection, sprayable perfumes for Feel-Oud. So there will be, I can reveal some of the things right now. There will be three fragrances. There will be three fragrances. There will be under Feel-Oud brand. It will be our first sprayable perfumes. And yeah, we are so excited about it. We obviously focus on oud because Feel-Oud is all about oud. And two fragrances are kind of oud heavy, whereas one is like a fresh take on oud. All of them we made together, and they all will be released very, very soon. We will try to keep you all updated through our own like personal Instagram and other channels. Hopefully, we will try to put up a video together and put it on the Feel-Oud YouTube channel. I've seen that latest video on YouTube channel was like 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I made the last distillation in Thailand that I recorded and uploaded on Feel-Oud YouTube channel. Since then, it's like that's it. I reached that I started, and I kind of switched my interest towards perfumery and distilling for Areej rather than distilling for Feel-Oud. But yeah, we will be back on track and with a new, very, very exciting collection.
Wow. So it's going to be Feel-Oud brand. That's amazing.
Yes, we will do even rebranding. There'll be new logo. There'll be new bottles. There'll be amazing quality presentation. I'm really looking forward to it.
That's awesome. Can't wait to smell it. Rachel asked, can you tell us about the new extraction methods? Maybe she was talking about the CO2 we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I'm more into traditional ways. I'm not really like too excited, or I'm not really doing it myself, because for some particular things like CO2, you need like huge machinery. You need like $1 million setup to extract the the oil. So I will select raw materials and then perform maybe another extraction like Indonesian Ood style, and see if different materials will, like, what sort of result I can get with it. But yeah, basically it's like it's not really new. CO2 has been around for a while, like, but it's start to be used for oud, and this is something new, I would say. They've done it in China. I personally not a fan of pure CO2 extraction because it offers very one-dimensional, boring type of profile, even with a higher quality agarwood. But of course, once you reach a certain level of quality of agarwood, it does deliver quite amazing results. And I do have conducted some experiments, but in combination with ethanol, it really gives so much more, as Indonesian Ood shows us. It gives all this amazing resinous, very deep, deep, deep resinous notes that even CO2 unable to suck from the raw material. So that's the main trick, is the combination of CO2 and ethanol. This is very, very complex. I mean, the way it's done, I cannot really speak much of it because it's like still a gray area even for me, because as I said, I'm more into traditional distillation. But yeah, as we can see, the result speaks for itself. It's really, really amazing method, and I will continue to search for appropriate raw materials to do more experiments, and hopefully maybe new scent profiles done in a similar manner will be available in the future.
Nice. Good stuff. Pulling Strings asks, where does the name Russian come from? Yes, he's Russian. Russian Adam from Russia.
Yeah, since a while, I was thinking that somehow Russia have bad reputation, and especially today as well. The reputation is getting worse, and many people associate Russia with something bad, with something scary, even like you have Russian mafia, you have Russian guns, you have Russian, I don't know what, like not many things are very, very bright and not many things are positive. So at the time I thought, okay, let me differentiate myself from other Adams, let me be Russian Adam, and maybe in the future somehow I will try and do my best to bring something nice in terms of art, to bring something valuable, so that perhaps some people can associate Russia with something brighter, with something more exciting, and something more beautiful than they normally do.
Well, I think you've already done that. Paolo asks, will the next collection have the expected Russian Oud Part 2?
Well, that's a very, very good question. And yes, I can say so that Russian 2 will be released very soon. And let's leave it at that.
All right. That's awesome. Um, how did you get a hold of Indian deer musk pods?
Yeah, this is a vintage stock that's been made available, and I purchased it. So this is like very old deer musk that's been sitting in the freezer or in the fridge for many, many years, because like there are quite a few different varieties of musk on the market that's been available to some people, and they all are in different state, like some of them extremely dried, some of them like half dried, some of them extremely wet, some of them almost disintegrated, like very, very sticky and so on. And it's all to do with the way musk been stored. So my particular batch of musk was stored in the fridge, therefore it's still kind of juicy and fresh and extremely intense in its aroma. Those, for example, musk that I used for royal musk attar, where I macerated high percentage of musk in sandalwood, in very old sandalwood oil, those were like 100% dried. So all these animalic notes faded away, and we left with this beautiful cacao, chocolatey, very, very sweet, powdery type of notes. So yeah, different musks are available now, vintage musks. And my particular batch is, I believe, Indian, but we never know because those were not labeled. And it's very, very juicy, it's very, very intense, very, very, very fresh, even though it's like 20 or 30 years old. Really amazing.
Beautiful. Rachel was asking, do you have any thoughts on oud from Papua New Guinea? Have you ever smelled oud from there?
Yeah, this is Maroke Oud, Indonesian Maroke, Papua New Guinea Oud. This is like, Papua New Guinea is kind of a big, and Maroke is more particular specific area in Papua New Guinea. And I think even I sent some of it to you as well.
Yes,
You
you
have
have.
it in
I like it.
sample pack. Is very, very normally dark, moist, mossy, earthy type of scent, because of the fact that most of the oud from that region comes from underground. Like they dig out underground trees from underground, the trees that fallen long, long time ago. Either they dig it from the, even from the water, like different rivers in the jungle and different places. They dig it from underground, and it's called like soil type of agarwood, and it has this particular note of very dry soil, and it might get wet. I mean, you might get wet soil type of note after the distillation. This is like typically, and if it's from a living tree, then it's more like sweet, milky, very silky, soft type of aroma, a bit green, very, very beautiful type of wood. Yes.
Yes, I got a lot of spices from it.
Yes, some spices as well. Definitely.
Cinnamony spices. I really liked it. Let's see. What other questions from the chat? My favorite sandalwood fragrance is Indiski Sandal by Rusvet. You talked about it, I guess. 50s animalic fragrance recommended by Adam. Never heard of it?
Yeah, Indiski Sandal is one of the vintage Russian fragrances. I made a video about it. Very, very interesting. Also inspiring story when Indian government gifted very, very huge amount of sandalwood oil to Soviet government, and then they give it for disposal for the perfumers, and then they made this one of the fragrances. It's very heavy on Indian Mysore sandalwood with this synthetic milk accord added to it and beautiful floral notes. It's a bit spicy, milky, floral, beautiful sandalwood. Maybe even tiny bit similar to Santal Galore, but not really, but like similar style.
I'll have to smell that one day. Pulling the Strings ask, what is the expiration date of these Areej Dore? I don't think there is an expiration date personally, but I'll let Adam answer.
Yeah, man, as you can see, some of the fragrances we have, they're like 100 years old, right? And even the packaging at the time was not as tight as we have today. We have those stopper type of bottles. And fragrance still intact, it still smells wonderful. Yes, top notes might be evaporated, but you get a very, very clear heart notes. You get very, very beautiful bass. And it's really amazing how notes emerge into each other, how the fragrance develop and mature. So I would say fragrances will definitely change, they will mature, but whether you will like it or not, it's totally up to you, because some of people like those brighter top notes, some of the people like the heavier, more resinous base notes. Then it's totally up to you. If you feel the fragrance have amazing top notes, is fresh, is sparkly, you should wear it and you should use it. You should not store it and wait for years. But if you like some fragrances that are heavy and base note heavy, like Russian Oud and I don't know, Oud Picante, you can store it for years and years, and I think it will only improve.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the biggest enemy of fragrances is sunlight. So just keep them away. Don't put them on your windowsills. Don't put them in your bathroom, where the moisture increases when you take a shower and decreases. Just keep them away from sunlight. They'll last your entire life, I think.
Definitely, that's a good point. The main issue is the constant fluctuating temperatures. Like if it's very hot and then very cold and then very hot and then very cold again, it might kind of damage a fragrance. But otherwise, yeah, if the temperature is stable, away from sunlight, we should be fine for many years to come.
Yep. Thank you, Fragrance Doctor. It's very kind. Two of my favorite people together, picking up Indian Oud tomorrow. Nice, good to hear it. Report back. Leave a comment in the comment section after the stream is posted. Let us know what you think. Their expiration date is next week, so everyone send me your expired bottles. Ajay's wearing Russian Oud. You're wearing my Russian Oud. I swapped Ajay for Santal Galore. He got Russian Oud and I got Santal Galore, so he's wearing it today. I hope you love it as much as I do. It's great. Hello. Yes.
Welcome.
Excited to see the Areej Bortnikov collaboration. Yes, so am I. Can't wait to smell those. Another Plumeria, Dooris, and Walima for me, please. I've never smelled either of those, but look what I did find. I found a couple drops that somebody sent me of Plumeria Dooris by Areej Dore and a Lucky Scent vial. I'm gonna review this with this one little drop. What is this, Adam? I've never heard anyone talk about this one before.
Yeah, originally this scent was inspired by my beautiful princess, by my wife, and I even was about to name a fragrance after her, same as her name. And at first she was like, "Yeah, that's beautiful, that's nice." But then probably after I added some civet, some other things, she was, "No, no, man, no way it's gonna be named after me." And I was like, "Okay, I have to do something." And that's it. That's how it came to be. This is like very feminine, peachy Oris plumeria combo with the beautiful contrast of animalic civet.
Beautiful. I can't wait to review that one. I've never even smelled it other than the tiniest little bit that got on the outside. But I do love Oris, so, and I love animalic, so we'll see how that goes. Jonathan asks, will a version of Inverno Russo ever come back around? I know it would be difficult, and you wouldn't have to call it Inverno 2, but would it be possible?
Yeah, maybe something along those lines. But yeah, we discussed this with Ramsay in the past that so many hand macerated extracts and different tinctures went into it and will be quite challenging to repeat. And I don't really want to disappoint people. Like, what's the point of doing something if it's not even close to the original? So let's see, maybe, but I highly doubt it.
I agree with Jonathan. Malik Al Taif too. That is now that I found Santal Galore, that is now my number one Areej that I'm hunting. This is all I have of Malik Al Taif, and I think it's my favorite rose. I can't find a bottle; it's impossible. So yes, Malik Al Taif too, Adam. Have you tried Beauty and the Beast, John? Very nice. Few others. Let's see what people are saying. Are you going to use this Indian Oud oil in upcoming releases?
It's already been used in one of the classics. I will say that much.
Nice.
One of the future re-release of classics.
Jonathan says he's been sitting with his Chinese Oud for the last few days. Bravo. I agree. I think it's one of the best from the collection. Rachel likes the Indonesian Oud.
Yeah, it's funny. Rachel was getting into Oud, start asking me many questions, and then this history of Oud collection was about to be released. So I told her, like, look out for it, and it will be very good timing for your Oud interest and for you to enjoy. And I really glad that she enjoyed the Indonesian.
Yes. Yep. Me too. I really like that one. Science Bear asks, what are your thoughts on the potential to artificially grow oud resin compounds via genetically engineered yeast or bacteria? I have never heard of that, Science Bear.
Yeah, I did see some good results in this type of things, and it's nice to experiment. But I mean, nothing can replace the natural way, right? When trees are infected, and even when people just simply harm or slightly damage the tree, like they drill a hole in the trees or they chop the tree slightly here and there, this produce quite amazing results. But to trigger infection faster, definitely it is possible to use different type of bacteria, different type of yeast. Even some people use post distillation water. They ferment it, then they infuse it into the trees. And I've seen this type of things in Thailand. Lots of things been done, lots of experiments been done, some good results, but it's tricky. You need to really closely supervise every single piece of wood coming from this type of trees, because it might be inconsistent. It might give some nice results as well as some very bad results in terms of the aroma or some minor nuances in the aroma. So business-wise, it might be extremely effective, but artisanal-wise, it's challenging. You know, you need to look after each single piece and see, make sure that it's all smell nice and nothing is introduced into the scent profile. So I would say, I don't know, if you have a business agenda, you're growing agarwood, you can experiment, you can go for it. But if you do things artisanally, you go for the highest quality, amazing scent profile, as close as possible to the wild variety, then just stick with the natural methods of infection.
Thank you for that. Some of the guys in the chat are talking about the original Chinese Ood, saying that they wish the opening lasted longer. The aldehydic opening is amazing. I agree with that. Paolo says Chinese Ood feels like a Chanel Guerlain with Oud. There's a compliment for you. Old Guerlain, I assume.
Some say Shalimar style oud. I was surprised when I heard that, and then I was like, yeah, maybe this vanillic sandalwood floral type of character is quite close to Shalimar. I think Sultan Pasha, once he received it, he was like, wow, it smells like Shalimar with wood.
Sultan Pasha said that.
Yes.
I need to, I need to smell. I've never smelled anything from him except one person sent me one of his atars that was like experimental atar they sent to people that bought stuff. It doesn't even have a name, but it's a Sultan Pasha, and it's unbelievable. I don't even know what this is. All I know is I love it. And he did, Sacred Scarab for Zoologist, but I haven't really smelled much other than Civet de Nuit that you guys did, Sacred Scarab, and then this little Atar. I need to smell Sultan Pasha's work one day.
Yes, definitely.
Ajay says Ombre de Coco is one of his all-time favorites. Paul asks, are all Indian Oods barnyard?
Not at all. It's just a matter of fermentation, treatment of raw materials prior to distillation, because people normally do this in India. That's why we get this barnyardy, funky, animalic type of scent profile. Otherwise, if you take Indian agarwood and you distill it directly without fermentation, it delivers woody, fruity, sweet, sometimes floral, amazing notes, often with the tobacco, honey, maybe some spices, but it will be completely absent of any barnyard type of notes.
What if you just soak it without fermenting it?
Yeah, but there's very thin line between soaking and fermentation, because as soon as you start soaking it, within like 3 or 4 days, it start fermenting and it start to, giving off this funky type of notes. But for me personally, more you soak it, the better, because the Indian oud in particular creates some amazing new aromas during the process of fermentation, like those chocolatey notes. I believe is a result of fermentation. Those very, very deep barnyardy notes obviously is a result of fermentation. And for me personally, I'm being now extreme with the fermented Indian oud. And the stuff I smelled like a year ago, it was barnyardy for me. Today I smell it, it's like 100% clean. So I need more and more levels of the fermentation, and I need more and more intensity for this particular note. And I personally just purchased very good quality raw materials, Indian from Nagaland. On my Instagram, I posted about it. And I started fermentation like a few days ago or a week ago. And I'm planning to ferment it for 3 months and then distill it.
Beautiful. Cannot wait. So much good stuff coming up. Thugger FC asks, is the new distillation process the reason why Indonesian Oud is so much more affordable than the others?
Yeah, definitely. The origin of raw materials is plantation mixed with wild, plus this new extraction technique offers much higher yield. Therefore, the affordability factor is there.
Good. I know that was important to you. I know that bringing as many of your creations to as many people as possible is a big thing for you. So that's good to hear. Let's see if there's any other comments here. I'm wondering if Adam thinks it works to his advantage to be a relative outsider to the oud culture. I find in many disciplines that someone comes from another culture, sees it, and innovates.
Yeah, that's a very good point because often I see people like in Thailand, for instance, there is a village in Trat where almost every house have a distillery, right? And they like so traditional and so close-minded. They never even maybe talk to each other. They never learn from each other. They never cooperate. I mean, in general, obviously they do, but in general, it's like very close type of circle, very close type of system, and people do things the way they've been taught, and nobody even imagining to do something different. Whereas when I came, it was all about innovation. Like, what's the point doing something that other people already doing? It's only exciting to do something else, to do something new. And I think, yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah. So you don't get like groupthink, right? So you keep an open mind.
Exactly.
Awkward me asks is do you have Areej has a bit of a house DNA? And he says, are there materials that you have? Do you have like go-to materials that you use when you make a perfume? Of course, the stuff we talk about all the time: oud, musk, ambergris.
Yeah, and even certain accords that I like, certain things that are a bit hidden, certain combinations of certain ingredients I do use a lot, but I try to go a bit away from that because that's how I end up with some fragrances smelling a bit similar to each other and this and that. So it is amazing to have signature, to have DNA, but also good to experiment with new materials so that you create something completely new and unique. So yeah, man, that was a pleasure. I will have a meeting soon, so I'm afraid I will have to leave.
That's okay. It was a pleasure being here with you all as always. You're always welcome to come on the channel. Again, congratulations on your new 8th collection. I think it's amazing. Thanks to the chat. Sorry we couldn't get to. I know there was a lot of people asking questions while we were chatting, but thanks to everyone who participated. Thanks to you, Adam, and I'm sure we'll be doing this again soon. So appreciate you being here, my friend. It's always good to see you, brother.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. I also want to thank everyone for this amazing success of the Oud collection, for all your questions. It's really honor to serve you guys, to be in this amazing hobby together, to enjoy amazing fragrances and share them between us. And yeah, just want to remind anyone who not purchased Indonesian, Indian, you can do it this weekend. So we do welcome everyone to the website. It will be available. You can see the timing on the Instagram, and you can follow the countdown and everything to grab it if you want. And yeah, man, hope to receive some samples from you that we can discuss in the future videos, inshallah.
We'll do that. I'll make a list of things. We'll connect and make a list of things you haven't smelled, and that'll be a fun video. First, a Russian Adam first impression of vintages he's never smelled. That'll be a great video.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, guys. Well, I'll let you run, Adam. Thanks for being here. I'll let you get to your meeting. I'm gonna hang around, chat. So if you guys want to hang on too, you can.
All right. Thank you so much, man. See you next time. Bye.
Cheers, man. Bye bye. All right, man. What an honor. 2 hours of the man, the myth, the legend, Russian Adam. Thanks to everyone who asked questions. Sorry we couldn't get to all of them. See how far behind I am on the chat. Could be interesting to have Russian Adam's opinion on Musk Tonkin. Yeah, that's a really good Musk. I don't remember what he said, which type of musk it was, but oh, there's some really good Russian fragrances out there. Celebration was one. Royal Moscow was another. Let's see. He sent me a bunch of them. Maybe I'll try to review them one day on the channel. Kind of like I did with Ocularia Blossom yesterday. Maybe I'll try to review some of them, some of the vintage Russian fragrances one day. Yeah, he really puts time and effort into his releases. He really puts the time and effort. I'm sure making a bottle that I'm sure making a bottle that you know, has its own mold like that for a collection that's sold out like that he doesn't think he'll be able to do another one for a couple years was not cheap. It is. It's amazing. What's your favorite, Jonathan? Yep. We all love your videos, man. Oh, that's a tough trade, dude. Oh, you guys are throwing out the hard ones. Man, I've seen people selling like 9 mil decants for hundreds. You know, yeah, it's not an easy $500 for 9 mils. You don't want to mess with that. You don't want a decant. You want a bottle. Yep. Ah, Eugene, what's up, man? Thanks for being here. Donnie, you made it. Glad you got to see some of this live. I wonder how behind in the chat I am. Oh, I really like Dude Infinity. I think it's her best work. I'll review it. I'll review it soon because I have a pretty good sized decant. I wish I would have bought a bottle, but Oud is a great medicine for fragrance addiction. It's another addiction, and it's a deep rabbit hole. I need to smell more Coty's. I haven't smelled very many Coty's myself. If Ramsay was given an ALD fragrance that he doesn't have every time he says last unboxing, he would have. Oh, if I can find a bottle of Malik Al Taif, you know, at a somewhat decent price, I would go for it. That's probably Malik Al Taif has probably jumped to #1 on my wish list. That's the guy. Covered in delectable scents, my brother. Ah, Rose de Jamal. Great rose fragrance, Pat. You love Safari Extreme. Yeah, me too. Someone was trying to tell me there's a difference between the limited edition bottle and the original bottle. Is that true? Does anyone know? I figured it was the same fragrance, just in different packaging, but I don't know. Has anyone tried any of these? Bois de Oud. Almost want to spray it. Let's spray it. Oh, look, there's like supposedly oud in there. I think that's a little bit of a marketing ploy. I didn't even notice that the first time around. All right, I got to spray this now. Let me take the watch off. The watch is coming off. All right, let's see what this is all about. Bois de Oud. Interesting. It's good. I like it. It smells like a musk oud. Could you please ask Adam if he knows what Kalakasi oud is? This is on the subject of ASQ, who has all these costly ouds. I'll text him, Hari. I'll text him and ask him and get back to you. Yeah, I'll ask him. So according to Parfumo, Bois de Oud is Bois de Oud is not even in the database. Abdul Samad Al-Qureshi. Let's see. Oh man, they got a lot of fragrances. They got 16 pages worth. Maybe it's actually called Heritage. What is it called? Let's try Heritage. Heritage Blend. Nope, that's a different one. Yeah, I don't see this one on Parfumo. Interesting. Here it is. It's called Kasab Al Oud Heritage. Okay. So it's star anise, saffron, floral notes, and French orange blossom with cedarwood, woody notes, lily, sandalwood, oud, and balsamic notes. So it is it's turning very wearable. It's not very animalic. I like it though. It's a good smell. It's a good like resinous, sort of balsamic, woody, slightly musky smell. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Russian Oud 2 coming out soon. He said it. Our bank account will cry. I was just about to say, hey man, can you give us a break from, from buying these history of oud collections straight onto 3 new Feel-Oud fragrances. Adam, when you consider undertaking a fragrance commission for another fragrance oil house, that's a great question. I don't think he would, but I know Sultan Pasha has said that he would love to work with Amouage or Guerlain, but I don't think Adam would, because the thing is I think they houses like Amouage want the perfumers who know how to use the synthetics. That's what it feels like to me. They want the Robertet, Givaudan perfumers. Adam's used to working with, you're not going to use real deer musk or real oud in an Amouage, so I don't think he would, but I can't speak for him, I guess. You got Habib. He's scary. Musk Habib, you mean? Yes. Well said, Andy. The chutney right next to the chutney, of course. May I ask, what is the longest time Adam spent on it? Man, I missed a lot of comments, I guess. Sorry about that. That's a great question, Nick. You should put a quick little pin in that one so we can come back to it next time. It really does. Actually, that Morocci is what it's called. I always found it very cinnamony, spicy oud, you know? Dark. It is good. I would think it's tough to try to recreate the magic of the OG. Is there a fear of not getting it where you satisfied? He told me specifically that he's tried it and it failed, that the oud blend was not correct. Ooh, you guys pulled out the hard questions at the end and we missed these. Ottoman Empire 4 with the new Indian Oud. That sounds great. I'm selling my entire set, Rachel, to a Arabian prince. If someone's willing to give me 100 grand, they can have my whole set. No, they're going to be hard to find, though, especially since there was 50 bottles. A top quality non-barnyard smelling fresh oud. You should check out the brand Agar. Agar has a ton of fresh ouds. It's almost like his passion, Taha's passion, creating fresh ouds. Man, that's a tough one. I missed some of these good questions later on. I guess we were just sitting there chatting. He's the Rick Rubin of Agarwoods. Yeah, I had a chance to buy a partial of Civet de Nuit at a great price. I think maybe Rudy bought it, and I'm still kicking myself to this day. If another partial ever shows up at a good price, I'd go for it. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, Julie? I'm glad you got to experience them. Leave a comment later and let me know what you think. Yeah, Civet de Nuit is awesome. Yeah, I really liked how smoky the Cambodian oud was. Chinese is what really grew on me, but I like challenging fragrances is the thing. Yeah, for something that's one note, they are extremely complex, aren't they? Thank you, Antonio. I will. I'm going to send him some presents. I just need to start a GoFundMe. Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate it, man. 3 great steam. Can we purchase another bottle? Yes, you can. You can, as long as you can get there early tomorrow, I think. Oh, tough question. I don't know. Start it over. Start it over, Mr. Zanchin. A Russian frag review. No one is talking. No one is. You're right. I do have them somewhere. Where are they? So it's so Indian Santal is actually one of them. They all smell amazing is the thing, like really high quality. Celebration is another. They're all amazing. I do full bottles of all of the samples he sent me in Red Moscow. Man, it's good. Carnation centered Chypre, as he describes it, and then there's another one called Stone Flower. Stone Flower is very interesting, actually. Yeah, I'll review these. I'll review those. I'm sure there's 0 reviews on YouTube. Let me spray this Ajmal. Great packaging. Fantastic packaging. Presenting the Amir collection. All right, let's see what Amir 2 is all about according to Ajmal. Great sprayers. I really like this house. I like it. I think I like the Ajmal right out of the gate more than the Kasab Al Oud Heritage has this slightly sweet designer feel to it. I still like it, but I think I like Amir. I like Amir too a little bit more right out of the nozzle, out of the atomizer. It doesn't have as much of that designer sweetness. Like if you've ever smelled Safari Extreme and you know it sort of has that, fruity, ambery, mango like thing going on. There's this sort of designer sweetness with this, which I still like. I still enjoy it. But it's sort of in this Kasab Al Oud heritage as well. But with Amir, with this one, with Amir 2 by Ajmal, it's more my style, slightly more animalic right out of the nozzle, and it is Mir 2. So it came out last year. It's geranium, ginger, pepper, rose, and nutmeg, with cashmere wood, cypriol, ambergris, and patchouli, with oud, guardian balsam, musk, and frankincense. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit now of this. It almost smells like a dirty musk, dirty woody musk. It's good. I like it. I like it so far. It's my favorite of the two, the Ajmal. Good stuff. An alchemist with a passion indeed. Oh, it's good stuff, Tripler. Don't get Areej started, dude. My best opportunity is to find someone who, again, because of the importance of this channel and everything that I give to Fragcom, will pass up the $1,000 a bottle Areej's willing to pay, and give it to me so I can show it off and talk about it and do it in a review, which is really giving back to Fragcom, something like that. Fallen and he can't get up. Adam has come on, Sonny. You missed him. You have to start back from the beginning. Yeah, I hear Blue Oud is surprisingly good. I have not smelled that one. I did just do a review on Arabian Oud's Blue Oud, which is actually really good. I think maybe some people were confusing it with Swiss Arabian, because Swiss Arabian's like a cheap house. But Arabian Oud has some good stuff, and Blue Oud is one of them. I wouldn't buy it because I have better Oud thanks to Russian Atom, but Blue Oud was quite nice. I would go for something like Diaghilev. They have the ability to remove the harmful ingredients in oak moss, although there are some perfumers who claim that they can smell the difference between oak moss that's natural and oak moss that has the harmful elements removed. But I would go with something like Diaghilev if you can find a bottle at a fair price, or even modern Mitsuko is great. The Indonesian is like a gateway drug. It is. That's right. Pretty soon you're going to be popping oud pills in a back alley somewhere. Interesting. Hey, I had to pay for my own college. Make the future child pay for theirs. Or who knows, maybe what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to sell your Areej, Dore, and Ensar bottles and then pay for college. But you're gonna have probably one of the best ambergris fragrances. You found a Bortnikov amber cologne. Congrats. That stuff is fire in the heat, man. I have not smelled that, but I have a small sample up here somewhere, so I'll do a video on it soon. Hey, 206, what's happening? Really? Interesting. Very interesting to see. I did not know that. Yeah. My 13-year-old was in the room when I watched Jonathan's last video. He asked me if he's in hiding. He said he sits in an attic and whispers in the... Oh, that's hilarious, dude. He's spot on, smart kid. Oh, that's great. That is fantastic, dude. Oh, man. Well, this is usually about the time my voice gives out, 2.5 hours. So I guess we should officially call it soon. I wish the playback of this should be fun. Do leave some comments in the actual comment section on the live stream if you would, especially to the folks who are just now trying some of the new collection. I'd love to know what you think. So I really do appreciate everyone's being here today and watching. It's honestly, like, I look forward to talking to Adam. He is just a wealth of knowledge, and he's always an open book, and he shares everything with us. So it's like having one of us. It's like one of us became, someone like Russian Adam, and then he comes home to us and reports all of his findings. Like, did you see how excited he was when he was talking about Sublime? And I feel that excitement because this is exciting. It's a great, especially the vintage version. My God, man, it is so good. But you could just feel his excitement. It's like having one of us on the inside. So we're very lucky to have someone like Adam doing this. So anyways, no discovery set because of how limited they are. But they're going to be available tomorrow on the website at a certain time. So check back. Bogart's witness relocation. Oh, you're killing it today, Tripler. All right, guys, lick the stream before you go, please. And I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. Adam is he's a legend, man. So and if you get a chance tomorrow to buy some of the remaining Chinese Ood, Indonesian Ood, if you've been watching, now's your chance to get them. And you heard what he said at the beginning of the video. He said, even if I started making more of these right now, it would take a year or two to do more history of Oud collections. So tomorrow's your chance. So keep an eye on that, gentlemen and ladies. Thanks for being here, everyone. Cheers. Catch you next time, guys. Bye-bye.